Hi, this is Heather Picken, and welcome to the Woman on Fire Entrepreneur Podcast. How to break through anything, become unstoppable, and be profitable. Learn how to align your mind. Yeah, I call that activating your money mojo. Market to your ideal clients and make money doing what you love. Tired of struggling and trying to figure things out? Do you tend to stop when things get tough? Well, I'm here to steer the ship out of the sea of overwhelm so that you can attract money and success in your business now. Grab your favorite beverage, let's fire it up, get inspired, and live life at your highest potential. Here's Heather with her co-host Chihuahua, Frankie Lee. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Woman on Fire Entrepreneur Show, where I bring to you guests all around the world that really are helping you to build a successful business. And, you know, what that looks like is having the right systems, having the right strategy, and, of course, having the right mindset. You've got to align your mind to your vision in order to really make an impact in the world. And I want to welcome my guest today, Carol Stanley. So, Carol, thank you so much for being my guest.
You're so welcome. Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. And I know I love this topic because today we're going to be talking about sales and, you know,
Yes.
particularly talking about increasing your effectiveness up to 300%. That is a lofty claim, 300%
Yes.
With your sales. I always say this, you know, sales is really the lifeblood of your business, because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. So before we jump into that topic, if you could share just a little bit about your background and how you help your clients.
Absolutely. My background is extensive, actually, in TV, radio, stage. I've done a lot of Broadway lead work, you know, lots of TV, lots of movies. Modeled professionally, I've done it all. and I've worked with and coached and trained singers for over 40 years, and speakers, and I'm working with speakers in particular now. And the thing I love so much about that business, if you will, of helping to bring the best out of somebody else, is it's all about us stepping up to excellence. And I love helping people see who they are and how to do that, how to step into their excellence, their God-given purpose, and just make it rock, have a good time with it. But, you know, we all have to be remunerated, meaning we have to earn a few bucks, right? So the whole deal is, for years I've been a personality trainer in addition to a voice and presentation skills trainer. And it's always been part of my deal to add that piece of personality in for speakers and singers, because they got to know who that audience is. They have to speak their language, if you will. And in the last year, I have come on to and been highly trained in and certified in a thing called bank. Bank code has nothing to do with a financial institution other than it makes you a lot of money. But it's personality based, people focused, and profit and purpose driven. That really floats my boat, Heather. It really does. You know what? We've all heard that saying that says, "Okay, sales is it's a numbers game," right? We've heard that it's a numbers game, that you got to get a lot more. To get more yeses, you have to get more
No.
And you know what? That's a fallacy. In order to get more yeses, you got to know how to get more yeses, right? And so the thing that Bank Code has developed, and just they're rocketing this market all over the world now, is that we train people how to ID their client within 90 seconds or less, so that now we know how to speak their language. And that's what immediately raises your effectiveness and your sales up at least 300%. Because we all come from our own language, if you will. Like for me, I would wear red glasses, okay? Which is kind of my top card of values. That's the other thing I want to point out, is that the bank system is based off of values, not psychology. All personality, and this is really important for your audience to know, all personality profiles on the market today, with the exception of bank, they're all psychology based. Bank is values based, and they like to say it's based off of biology spelled Buylogly. So it's really, that's an important piece, really an important piece, because business is a people game, not a numbers game so much.
Right.
It's a people game. So if I want to take off my red glasses, if I give a blue person or a green person or a yellow person my red presentation, they're not necessarily going to buy into me. But if I know how to literally speak their value system, you bet they know that I love them and care and that I have their back. I speak their language. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. And that's a lot of what I talk to my clients about understanding the values. And yeah, when you're selling to someone, you have to understand and identify who they are. So I am in total alignment with this message. I think it's so important. And I think, one of the biggest things, let's talk about confidence in the system, because
yes.
One of the biggest things that I know when it comes to teaching people how to sell like high ticket items is confidence, lacking the confidence. Can I really do that? So how does your system or this bank system help people to really boost their confidence so that they can boost their sales?
Well, part of the, part of the deal is going through a very, really, I'm a live trainer. So I love to come into groups and train them on basically how to speak 4 card languages, if you will. These are the simple cards that you could simply hand someone and say, do me a favor, put these cards, read the information, and put the cards in order of importance to you, like what really resonates with you personally. And they'll do it in less than 90 seconds. And I've never had anybody say no. And so that in itself gives you a tremendous amount of confidence to know that anybody will play the game with you. Okay. Now, the game is the first step, but what you want to know is, and what really gives you the confidence, is understanding those value systems and how to speak into their lives in those value systems. And that's really pretty darn easy. But the training is really a fun training, and it really does give you tremendous confidence right off the bat. Again, as a voice and presentation skills coach, I am all about the confidence piece and helping people to step into, again, if you know who you are and you know your system really well, piece of cake. It's easy to be confident at that point. It's the thing about confidence is your thoughts, every single thought is tied to an emotion. And that sets up an energy field around you, and that speaks louder than your words do. So it's very, very important for any of us to know who we are, to really know who we are and be able to give absolute, confident, oh my goodness, authentic. In fact, I work with this thing called HAIL, H-A-I-L. H is for honesty, A is for authenticity, I is for integrity, and L is for love. If you operate out of that modality, if you will, then you will always be effective, because then people sense your heart and your authenticness, if you will. And so working with the 300% raise, in fact, it goes beyond that a lot of times, truly. But it's very easy for a person to really buy into you and love you, especially when you know how to talk to them. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to speak their language. You have to connect with them in a deep way. And I totally get and total alignment and agreement about understanding what is important to someone, understanding also who you are. I love this quote, and it's know thyself, be thyself, love thyself. It's a famous Greek quote. And it's like, if you really know who you are, like, especially in your business, like, you know what you're selling, you're, on fire, you're passionate about it. It's easier, to get people, to sign them up as clients. And then, like what you're saying, taking them a step further, understanding what their values are and having a system. Because I think the biggest thing when it comes to selling anything, whether you're selling a high ticket item, product, or service, is really having a process and system to where you're feeling confident. Do you find that to be true? Like having, being able to walk someone through that process.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, we can be on fire and just really rocking it, But if you've got a blueprint, and again, BANK stands for blueprint, action, nurture, and knowledge. And that's kind of how these cards line out. And so, but if I'm a high action nurture person, right? And I'm talking to a high knowledge and blueprint person, and if I'm in my fired up energy, they're going to think I'm a ditz. They're not going to get me, because I have to learn how to chill and move into their world. I have to understand how their values, like budget's really important to them. I would speak to that. Knowledge and science is really important to them. I would speak to that. Systems, planning. You see, I would speak to those issues that are going ding, 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 ding for them. And yes, I can be enthusiastic, but I have to know how to temper that so that they are literally able to receive what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, because if I come on too strong or too, again, out of the box action, then that will be a turn off. Because the blueprint, this guy is in the box, okay? He's very comfortable in the box with all of the stability and structure and systems and planning and processes and predictability. He's very much about responsibility, duty, rules, credentials, titles, and tradition. Okay? Not that those things aren't important to most of us, but they drive that person. Okay? The action person in BANK, so we've got B as blueprint. A is for the out-of-the-box person. Do not fence me in. Freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement, attention, stimulation, competition, winning, fun, and image. That's what drives this person, if this was on top. Mm-hmm. We have, keep in mind, we have all four in us. Everybody has all four in them, but it's how they line out. It's how you crack their personality code. That's the key here, is this is a system to be able to literally crack the code of the person in front of you. And it's brilliant, and it works like an absolute charm. Then you've got the nurture person who decorates the box, who recycles the box, who repurposes the box, if you will, just to give you an idea. And so relationships, authenticity, personal growth, significance, teamwork, involvement, community, charity, let's see, where am I? Ethics, harmony, morality, and contribution. Those are the drivers for this guy. And last but not least is your knowledge person who engineered the box, okay? And so their whole deal, what drives them is the learning, is the intelligence, is logic, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science, universal truths. You've got expertise, competence, accuracy, and the big picture. So that kind of describes, if you will, those different value systems. But the BANK system is incredibly accurate at, in fact, oh my goodness, this is an important piece.
Yes.
we have a white paper from San Francisco State University. They recently released this, proving scientifically that this system works absolutely in any industry. This is what's so fascinating. This works in any industry on the planet, and it absolutely predicts the buying behavior of that other person. And so you know that your effectiveness, if we're predicting their buying behavior, we know exactly how to talk to them. Would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So again, you've got the secrets, the science, and the system to really skyrocket a person's sales for them by knowing this system. And again, I train people on this system, and we've got all kinds of wonderful options for them to get that training. And I tell you, to know how to power script, to know how to speak to an audience, to know how to it's like speed coding. You can sit down with somebody and know how to ask the right questions and pretty much code them right there without the cards. But the cards are great. And there's an online version. In fact, that's the gift I want to give away today to your listening audience, is a link that will take them. They can play the game, they can look at the white paper, and if they have any questions, absolutely, it's all good. But it's a fun gift, because normally a person would pay to play that game online. But it's a gift to you guys today.
Excellent. And for those that are listening or watching, the link is right below the video if you're watching us on the video format, or if you're on iTunes, you'll find that link in the show notes.
Yeah. And can I give it verbally as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it would be www dot, if you will, bankcode, bankcode.com/CLSTANLEY, so it's CL Stanley /white paper, and that will go, and you get to play this card game online. Oh, I'm showing we have these for children as well, where it's pictures rather than words, and that is really cool with kids. But anyway, where you get to play the game online, which is fabulous, because the company will send you a readout as to what that means, and everybody loves to know about themselves. And then, of course, when you engage in the training, there is a way that you can then know the company. It's phenomenal, because they'll send you how to talk to this person, which is really cool. Yeah, it's really neat. Love it.
I love that. And I just have to reiterate how important the understanding, having a rock solid sales process, being confident in your process, and really know who you're talking to, because the quality of your questions will determine the outcome of your sale, and people will always buy what they truly value. I remember... it's funny, because when people say, I don't have any money, but back in 2008, when the stock market crashed, and I tell this story a lot, is I remember being in an Apple store, and Apple is a high-end product. People are whipping out their credit cards to pay for these products. Why? Because they value them. And so it's never about the money. It's about understanding who you're really talking to. And what you're saying is, you've got a system, here's what the system teaches you, and really learning, how to identify certain personality types or value systems, and then allowing, kind of walking them through the process and being able to sell to them in a way that they are understanding. And I think that is key.
It really is key. And so many people get a little confused, because they say, well, I've been through personality, right? Yes, from a psychological standpoint, you have. And that's fabulous. But most people, as a trainer, most people will not take the time to understand the psych profile. I don't care which one you've taken, they won't spend the time to know it well enough to be able to ID that person in front of them quickly. Where the bank system literally allows you to crack the code. This is a cryptex, and it came out of a very famous movie, but the whole deal is, if you don't have the right code, the secret message inside gets destroyed. And how many of you have seen a sales process get destroyed right in front of your face?
Yeah.
We all have, right? So when you know how to crack the code, personality code of the client in front of you very quickly and easily, oh my goodness, makes all the difference in the world. Out comes the holy grail of the sale. It's really neat. Yeah.
It's so true. And that is the difference between, I say just getting by and living a life that feels fulfilling, because you've got to master the art of sales. You've got to have a process. You have to master the art. You've got to feel confident, you know, who you're speaking with, because if you don't, then you could be the best at what you do. But if you don't understand the art of, how you can connect with people, then you're going to lose that sale, and you're going to lose thousands of dollars, because you haven't taken the time out to really master that. So I can really appreciate that. And any other words, actually, we talked about, this system, the bank system, and how powerful it is. What do you find is the biggest mistake that people are doing in their sales today? You've talked about how the personality doesn't necessarily sync up, but what else do you find that people are really missing the boat on?
It's, I think if gosh, there's several things actually, but I think that again, what is so important is knowing how to be authentic. You have to be honest, authentic, speak it with integrity, if you will. You have to be very trustworthy and very loving at the same time. And I think when people miss out on sales, it's because they're possibly nervous. They're possibly not super solid. I mean, it kind of goes back to all we've been talking about today, Heather, but they're not solid in who they are and what they truly have to offer. Again, it's the other person's value system that's important. And so for me to know how to speak into that with the value I know I give, that's critical. I have to know who I am, certainly, and know the incredible value I give. But I have to be willing to listen, to understand who they are first and foremost, so that I can approach them properly. Again, in sales, we always think, oh, I've got my sales together, right? You have to have 4 different presentations because you have 4 different primary value viewpoints, if you will, that you're speaking to. So if I'm thinking to a blueprint, I'm going to approach them differently. My basic information is there, but it's presented in a different way than I would in action or in nurture or knowledge. So it's that business of really knowing who you are, knowing who that client is. That's critical. And having a way to truly speak into their lives the value that you give. Because if you're in business and you are passionate about what you are and who you are and what you have to give other people, that will communicate, and it needs to communicate in a way they can receive it. That's the key. They have to be willing to, they have to be open to receiving. So I have to present it in such a way that they will be open and see the value I give, and that we can have a conversation so that, because truly, what is it costing them to not take advantage of, say, my coaching program or whatever, that I would have to offer? That's really, again, there's a whole skill to helping people make those decisions and to learn to value what you offer.
Right. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I know before we leave today, any last words of wisdom that you want to share for people that are watching this that can really get some inspiration, as far as when it comes to really increasing their sales? Because I know a lot of people lack the confidence. They've got the skill set, but they lack the confidence.
Well, and that those two go together when you really truly know who you are. One of the course that I do for speakers and singers is one of the very first modules is all about knowing who you are and tapping into that, because if you really know who you are, it's so much easier to be solid, confident. And the other thing, just between you and me and the Fence Post and all of our audience, is that I have a strong faith base, and I know that anytime I walk out on a stage or I walk in, up in front of someone I want to share my value with to them, I know I'm not by myself. The Holy Spirit of God has got my back, and so that in itself is a huge deal for helping people to rest in who they are. If God's giving you a passion in your heart, He's also got your back to fulfill it. So it makes it so much easier to sell, if you will. If, like, I've been married 52 years. Well, you think I had to sell myself at some point? Yeah. And so did he. Yeah. So we're in the business of sales all the time, whether we like it or not, or whether we think we are or not. And being comfortable in who you are is critical to any of those processes. It just is. So I guess my last moments here of inspiration would be, know who you are, trust who you are, and whose you are, and that you're not alone. God gave you an incredible ability to be used for service, in service to other people, and make your heart sing. What makes your heart sing, and pursue it with all your heart and soul. Yeah.
I love that. Carol, thank you so much for being my guest today.
You're so welcome, Heather. You rock.
We're on fire. We're both wearing red.
Yeah, we are. We are.
If you're watching us, we're both. It was not planned. I promise.
No, it wasn't.
And I just want to say thank you for all our listeners and viewers. And if you're over on iTunes, please do me a favor, rate, review, and subscribe to the show, because that's how people find out about the show. They get the inspiration and strategies that we're doing right here, right now. So until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So if you found this show to be helpful, please hashtag WOFE, that stands for Woman on Fire Entrepreneur, and subscribe to this show in iTunes and leave me a review. I want to know how these shows have helped you. I also want to know the number one thing that you're struggling with the most in your business. Every week, I give away complimentary sessions to help you get it clear on your next steps and to activate your money mojo. You can learn more about my work if you go to www.heatherpicken.com.